Okay, so I recorded this video already once for you, and I didn't like the first one, so you're getting double. So we're going to talk about intent versus impact today. In fact, this came up on another video that I was watching, and it stuck with me, so I wanted to address it for this community because I think it's really a relevant dichotomy, and we don't give it enough attention. So topic is somebody else's, but we're going to address it in direct correlation to some of the things that I think a lot of business owners struggle with. So intent versus impact. And when I say those two words for you, you probably are thinking, man, I like those two words. What is my intent? And then what is the impact that I have? If you have a staff, or if you have a product or a service that you're putting out there, we all have an intent. And to be fair, when I first recorded this video, I had done some personal coaching over the weekend, and I thought, man, that was not what my intention was when I went into this conversation. But I knew that in the end, the impact was way greater than what I had originally thought. You know, I had started a conversation with somebody who I thought, oh, well, this is a simple boost you up. And the impact in the end was way greater by the feedback that I had gotten. And I think that that's where we have to step back and say, okay, that's the best example of what we're talking about. But when we talk about it in regards to business and not necessarily a personal interaction, intent versus impact affects our pricing. I hear it a lot when people say to me, oh, well, I want to be more specific, or the whole niche. We all know how I feel about that. If you don't, just watch more of my videos. But I also think that it has to do with people who want to be leaders and really are misempowered managers. And then this whole concept of giving forward, which I'm very passionate about. So let's talk about it. Intent is what we think what we want to do. And impact is really what the result is. Our products or our services that we put out in the world, they tell us, like smack in the face, right? They either sell or they don't. And that is the impact that we get. So when I hear people say to me, oh, well, it didn't get off on the right foot, so maybe we did a poor job launching or pre-selling, my social media doesn't return, we don't get leads back, or it's not converting. Okay, so that's on us. There's a saying out there that I heard a long time ago, and I will be very transparent. I didn't like it. There are no bad prospects, there are only bad salespeople. I didn't like it because looking back, it was a complete accusation on me. What kind of job did I do? It's very true. My intent might have been that I did a good job. I always want to show up and do a good job. But the reality is, what kind of impact did I have? So if you want to raise your price, can you? If you want to get into a deeper niche, are you as busy as you want to be? Is your calendar so full that you need to start narrowing your lane? I hate to see people say to me, oh, well, I'm not busy enough. Maybe I need to be more specific. Okay, so maybe you're too broad, but 90% of the time, you don't have a product that someone wants to buy. We can be super passionate about purple something, but if you don't have a product that somebody wants to buy, if they don't like the color purple in the product that you have, then you need to pick a different color. Okay, same thing with your pricing. If you can't sell, then there isn't a demand for your product. Your intent with the product was good, but if it's not selling, then it has no impact. Same thing with leadership. If you want to be a good leader, that's great. But if your tactics don't work, how many times have we been on a team where the person at the top that has the fancy title doesn't have the effectiveness as the person in the middle of the team who can motivate and move that. We talk about impact when people can lead or manage up and manage down. They have more impact, even without the fancy title. If you've been through my leadership class, we talk about in the military when there's 6 boats on the water and the best performing team and the worst performing team, and they swap the leaders, what happens? They don't say the best and the worst, but they do change how they perform within, the rankings of those performance, the teams themselves. So what your intent is one thing. What your impact is another. By the way, this is why we coach on mentorship teams or implementing mentorship teams in your company. What kind of impact do you have internally? This is a culture issue. That's why culture here at Oxygen is a byproduct of what comes out of our working with a company. We may come in and have leadership and sales trainings and incorporate our tools, but your culture shifting up is typically a byproduct. I do not tell you we shift your culture, but very often does your culture improve, because that is the impact of what we're doing. People see buy-in, they feel better incorporated in the company, they get their love cup filled up. So the intent is that we're training. The impact is a better culture and people feeling like they've got a vision that they can buy into. That give forward, again, is the impact that you get. For a ton of us, I tell you, you will never face judgment for those that are further down the path than you are. This conversation that I had personally this weekend, I simply was reaching back. I was a little further down the path than this person was, and someone had reached back and helped me when I was going through it. I simply reached back. My intent was, hey, you know what? It's going to be okay. And I see what's going on with you. The impact for this person was, hey, I feel heard, and this is the best advice anybody's given to me in this process. I didn't know that that was going to be the impact that I was going to have. My intent was simply, hey, you know what? You're not alone and it's going to be okay. So understand that what your intent is one thing, and your intent is usually great. But if your intent doesn't match your impact, then typically we need to step back and take a look. And again, you're usually emotionally attached to that intent. So you may need to have somebody step in and say, okay, let's take a look. Those right brain tools that we have usually are what help trigger that and shake you loose a little bit. There aren't always right brain tools for that. We can't always attach numbers. Sometimes you got to get in and have those tough conversations and really figure out, what is it that I wanted to see, both tangible and intangible. All right, so don't hesitate to reach out. You can always find us at info@Oxygen Coaching Group. Make sure you follow us here on the channel. We've got tons and tons of content, or shoot us a message and we'd be happy to jump in. Make sure you take just a little bit of time to breathe life in, and we'll see you all soon.